Today we are going to discuss about another topic of company law called legislation. Legislation is considered as the most important source of power for the companies to be governed or regulated. So legislation governs the communication between a company as a separate legal person with its members, its directors and financiers. The existence of these companies is mainly dependent upon the Act of Parliament, and they exist only by virtue of Companies Act under which it is incorporated. That means if at all a company is being incorporated under Companies Act 1956, then certain provisions of Companies Act 1956 will be applicable to the such company. And if at all a company is registered under Companies Act 2013, then such particular company will be existing only because of the Companies Act 2013, and all the provisions of Company Act 2013 will be applicable to such companies. So the existence of such companies depend upon the Act of Parliament, and this enables them to be registered at Register of Companies, because legislation not only governs them but also regulates them. Therefore, legislation is considered the most important source of company law. In Welton versus Safri, Lord McNaughton stated that these companies are creatures of statute. Since companies are artificial legal persons, they cannot be touched, or they are not tangible, but that their presence can be felt in the markets. So these companies can only be regulated because they are the creatures of the statute, or governed because they are the creatures of the statute through legislation. In Oregon Gold Mining Company of India Limited versus Roper, Lord Halsbury stated that the whole structure of a limited company owes its existence to the Act of Parliament, and it's the Act of Parliament one must refer to see what are the powers and within what limitations a company can act upon, and certain powers or limitations are all in the legislation. And in order to understand legislation clearly, one must understand its history. Coming to history of company law, the first kind of act where companies were regulated were Bubbles Act 1720, where the promoting of companies was made illegal, because at that point of time the companies were floated and winded up at the expense of shareholders. So the Bubbles Act 1720 made promotion of companies completely illegal, and this particular act has been in force for more than a century, and it was repealed in 1825 by Bubble Companies Act. Later on, Joint Stock Companies Act 1844 came into existence, and this made registration and incorporation mandatory for large partnerships. Since they are partnerships, the unlimited liability is still in the books. So this is the first act to facilitate registration of going concerns. And later on, Joint Stock Companies Act 1850 was enacted, and this is the genesis of company law in India, which was again in 1855. A Joint Stock Companies Act 1855 was enacted, and from this act the right to trade and the principle of limited liability came into existence. The right to trade with limited liability was granted in this particular act. Afterwards, the Joint Stock Companies Act 1856 was enacted, and the whole law relating to companies were consolidated in UK, and this can be considered as the first Companies Act, Consolidated Companies Act in the modern world. And later on, the Companies Act 1882 was enacted for the British occupied territories such as Singapore, Hong Kong, India. And later on, Companies Act 1913 was enacted, where the trading companies and other associations, the law relating to trading companies and other associations in India, Balochistan and Sambal Parganas were consolidated. And Companies Act 1956 is the first act for India after independence for the companies, and it is a very detailed and a complex law, which was again repealed or replaced by Companies Act 2013. Companies Act 2013 only amended and consolidated certain portions of company law. And as far as UK, Companies Act 1985 was enacted, but it was again repealed when Companies Act 2006 came into existence. So Companies Act 2006 of UK is the most extensive, detailed and complex company law ever made in UK. So coming to difference between corporation and company, in India there are two types of entities, separate legal entities. One is corporations and another is companies. Why they are called corporations? Because the corporations are the business, the corporations are the organizations that are formed under a special act of parliament, such as LIC, which is incorporated for business in life insurance under Life Insurance Corporation Act. So LIC will only conduct life insurance as its main business. Such institutions are called corporations, and any other business firms or entities incorporated under Companies Act are known as companies. So this is the difference between corporations and companies in India. And in order to understand the spirit and intent behind the legislation, because to interpret it clearly, one has to know the spirit and intent behind the legislation. And such spirit and intent can be understood by reading the expert committee reports of Ministry of Corporate Affairs at the time of enactment of Companies Act 2013. The following website links will provide you the sources at which you can go and read the committee reports in India as well as UK. And coming into the amending legislation. Amending legislation is the power that is only vested with the Parliament. However, there are two ways to amend the legislation. One is an affirmative resolution procedure and two, a negative resolution procedure. Coming to affirmative resolution procedure, when Parliament finds any provision obsolete, then it may repeal such provisions with approval by resolution in each House of Parliament. And this particular procedure is called affirmative resolution procedure. And coming to negative resolution procedure, as per section 467 to 470, central government has the power to make rules, amend schedules, rules relating to winding up, and power to remove difficulties. And if such rules made by the central government are found to be affecting ease of business of companies or ultra vires of Companies Act 2013, then through negative resolution process, the Parliament annuls them. That means they cancel such kind of rules. So in affirmative resolution procedure, a provision cannot come into existence until and unless it is approved by resolution by each House of Parliament. And in negative resolution procedure, any rules that are already in force can be annulled by the House if at all they are found to be ultra vires, or it can be said that the such rules will be in force until and unless the Houses annuls them. Thank you.